Hi everyone, Namaste. I hope all of you understand the last chapter, states of matter, and that chapter is most important. It is also used in the thermodynamics chapter. So now we start thermodynamics chapter. So what actually thermodynamics is? So we know thermo means heat, and whereas dynamic means motion. So the motion of heat study is called thermodynamics. That is a general definition. So it is the transfer of heat. So heat is the one of the mode of energy transfer. So here also not only heat, you can transfer any form of energy. So thermodynamics actually is the definition is it is the study of transfer of energies. So from one body to another body. So from one body to another body, whenever energy is transferring, that study of energy transfer is called thermodynamics. So thermodynamics is the study of energy transfers from one body to another body. So in this chapter, first we learn some definitions. After that, we'll go for the thermodynamics chapter. First, some definitions we have to learn. So what are the definitions is? The first definition of thermodynamics is a system. The system. So what is system is? System is a body where the change we are observing. So it can be anything. So where we are observing change, and that body is called system. Example, we are taking a beaker. Within this beaker, we are taking a water. Suppose example for water. Now on heating, the temperature of water will be changed. So where we are observing change, the change is observed in water. So here water is called as a system. System is anything where we are observing change. Here water is a system. So another definition is surrounding. What is the surrounding is? Except system, the remaining total space is called surrounding. System is a body where we are observing a change. System is a substance where we are observing a change. Surrounding is except system, the remaining total space is called surrounding. So surrounding has no finite area. Suppose if this beaker we are heating in a room, the total room area is called surrounding. If this we are heating in the outside, the total universe is called surrounding. So surrounding has no specific limit except system. The remaining total is called surrounding. So system is a body where we are observing change. Here the water is called system and the remaining total space is called surrounding. Another definition, boundary line. What is boundary line is? It is an imaginary line between system and surrounding. Between system and surrounding, the change of energy transfer will take place. Suppose this total is the surrounding. From surrounding to system, we are heating. So heat is transferring. So transfer of heat takes place from surrounding to system through this beaker. Here this beaker is called boundary line. So through the beaker from system to surrounding, energy is transferring. Hence this is called boundary line. So there are three definitions: system, surrounding and boundary line. System is a body where we are observing change. Surrounding is except system, the remaining total space is called surrounding. Boundary line, so this is the line which differentiate system and surrounding. So through system and through boundary line, energy will be exchanged between system and surrounding. Suppose this beaker we are cooling, then heat transferred outside again from system to surrounding through boundary line. The transfer of energy will take place through boundary line between system and surrounding. So this is the general definitions: system, surrounding, boundary line. Now there are number of types of systems are there. The systems can be open system, closed system, isolated system. Mainly three systems: open, closed and isolated system. What is open system is, if we are heating the liquid, whenever boiling point is reached, the liquid will be escaped from the beaker as a gas. Now see this. So here heat is also transferring from surrounding to system, and from system to surroundings matter is transferring. Matter means some mass is going. So when both matter and heats are transferred, energies are transferred, that system is called open system. In open system, both matter and energy will transfer. Both matter and energy transfer or energy exchange will be takes place, and that systems are called open system. In closed system, suppose this beaker is closed. So when we are heating the beaker, heat will be transferred from surrounding to system, but since it is closed, water cannot be escaped. So here matter is not transferring, only energy is transferring. So such systems are called closed systems. So closed systems, only energy will transfer, no exchange of matter will take place. Same like isolated system. What is isolated system is, if this beaker is coated with isolated material, that means like thermocol. So when it is coated with thermocol, here heat cannot transfer, also matter cannot transfer. Such systems are called isolated systems. So example of isolated system, thermos flask. In thermos flask, heat cannot transfer. If it is a closed, matter also not transferred. So when both matter and heat not exchanging, then that is called isolated system. When only heat is exchanging or energy is exchanging, then that is called closed system. Both matter and energies are exchanging, then that system is called open system. So there are three types of system: open system, closed system, isolated system. So these are the types of system. The system I already told, where we are observing change, that we are calling as a system. Except system, remaining empty space is, remaining total space is called surrounding. So between surrounding and system, exchange of energy is called study of thermodynamics. So these are the types of systems. Now we learn some process also. Process or thermodynamical process. A process is nothing but it is an operation done to the system. The process, that is called process. It is an operation done to the system is called process. There are number of types of process are there. The first process is isothermal process. So all you know that iso means constant, thermal means temperature, and temperature of the system is constant, then that process is called isothermal process. In isothermal process, delta T is equal to 0. So delta T is equal to 0 for isothermal process. Another process is adiabatic process. Adiabatic means constant heat. When heat is constant, the process is called adiabatic constant. When temperature is constant, that is called isothermal. When heat is constant, that is called adiabatic. So temperature and heat both are different. So what is the difference? I'll explain later. First of all, when temperature is constant, that is called isothermal. When heat is constant, that is called adiabatic. So here heat is represented with Q. So delta Q is equal to 0. That is called adiabatic. Similarly, other processes are isobaric. Isobaric means constant pressure. When pressure is constant, first process are called isobaric pressure, where delta P is equal to 0. Another one is isochoric. That means the constant is volume. So delta V is equal to 0. So constant volume isochoric, constant pressure isobaric, constant heat adiabatic, and constant temperature isothermal means constant temperature delta T is equal to 0. Another extra process also there, cyclic process. Cyclic process means if the initial and final states of system are same, then the process is called cyclic process. In cyclic process, initial state and final state of the system must be same. So in cyclic process, there is no change. Initial, final values both are same. So that is called cyclic process. So when we are writing the graph of this, we know that isothermal conditions in the states of matter, we are studying the Boyle's law. Boyle's law says that at constant temperature, pressure, volume both are inversely proportional. When we are writing a graph, pressure versus volume, it will give a negative hyperbola like this. So this is called isotherm. So for isothermal process, this is the graph, pressure versus volume. Similarly for adiabatic, so adiabatic is also similar to isothermal, but here the slope will be steep like this. So this will be isothermal and this will be adiabatic. Isobaric, volume is pressure is constant. So this is the pressure. It should be like this. So this is the isobaric. Similarly, isochoric, volume is constant. So volume is the x-axis. It is called isochoric. So this is the graphs of the pressure versus volume for the different types of process. I have isobaric process, isochoric process, isothermal, and adiabatic process. These are the different types. So cyclic process means suppose system is started at A, it reached the point B, again it reached the point C, it reached the point D, finally it is coming to its initial state, then that process is called cyclic process. In cyclic process, initial value and final value both are same. So these are the different types of process: isothermal, adiabatic, isobaric, isochoric, cyclic process. In cyclic process means if system is coming to its initial position, then that is called cyclic process. So other process also there. We'll see what are the other process. Another important process are reversible and irreversible process. another two extra process. One is the reversible, another is the irreversible process. So what is reversible and irreversible? A reversible process is a process, it will take place at infinite time. That means the time taken for the process is infinite. That means it is a very slow process. If any process is going slowly in infinite number of steps, that process is called reversible process. If any process is taking place in finite steps, then that process is called irreversible process. So reversible process is a slow process, whereas irreversible process is a fast process. It will take infinite time to completion and it will take finite time to complete. And reversible process will be in equilibrium at every stage, whereas irreversible process will be equilibrium at initial and final stage. These are the some points of difference between reversible and irreversible. So reversible process is a process where it will take place in infinite number of steps and it is a very slow process. It can be reversed by small opposing force. In a reversible process, any small opposing forces we are placing, then it can be reversed, but it cannot reversed. So these are the number of points. What is actually a reversible process is this. We are taking a graph versus P versus volume. Why always we are taking P versus volume? Actually, P versus volume is explains the work of a system. So work definition will say, work formulas also will say, but just pressure and volume is always equal to work. So that's why we are taking pressure and volume. Now see this, in a reversible process, we are taking an ideal gas. If the ideal gas is expanding, then volume will be increases like this. So it is a number of infinite steps. It is going from volume V1 to volume V to the expansion. If it is slowly expanding, and that process is called reversible process. If the process is taking place in finite steps, finite step means it is directly coming to here and coming to final volume. In one step, it is coming to final volume. So that is called irreversible step. So irreversible takes place in finite steps. Reversible takes place in infinite number of steps. So this process is called reversible and this is called irreversible. So remember the graphs of reversible and irreversible. So these are the different types of process: cyclic process, reversible, irreversible, and isothermal, isobaric, isochoric, and adiabatics. All these are the different types of process. At which process what will happen? Just remember all the definitions. So we have seen the types of systems and types of process, and the next definition is state functions, also called state variables, also called state parameters. All are same: state functions, state variables, and state parameters. So what actually state functions or state variables are? So these are the parameters which explains the state of a system. So any parameter which is explain that at what state system is present, and that parameters are called state functions. Suppose we are taking an ideal gas. If the ideal gas volume is V1, temperature is P1, pressure is P1. So here pressure is explained, the P1 is the value of the pressure of the system. So here pressure is called state function. Similarly, temperature explains the state of the system. Volume is also state of the system. Any system state explained by some parameters. Such parameters we are calling as state parameters, state variables, state functions. However, these parameters only explains the state of the system, but that does not explain how the state is reached. That means these are path independent functions. They does not explain the path how they reach, but they explain only what is its initial value, what is its final value. Only explain the values of the systems, does not explain how the values are reached. That's why state functions also called path independent functions. So path independent functions or state functions. So the state functions are nothing but these are the parameters which explains the state of the system. So these can be pressure, volume, temperature. So all we know PVT, pressure, volume, temperature in the gaseous state. All these properties we learn. In this thermodynamics chapter, other state functions we learn. That will be internal energy. It is represented with U or E. In some books E they will go, in some books U they will go. So anything is correct. So internal energy is a state function. Another state function is enthalpy, represented with H. Another state function is Gibbs energy, represented with Z. And another one is entropy, represented with S. So all these are the parameters which explains the state of the system. So these parameters we are calling as state functions. So state functions can be pressure, volume, temperature, internal energy, enthalpy, Gibbs energy and entropy. So these all terms we learn in gaseous state chapter. Now in thermodynamics chapter we learn 4 terms, that is internal energy, another one is enthalpy, another one is the Gibbs energy, and the last one is entropy. So these 4 terms when we learn in thermodynamics chapter. Thermodynamics is the mostly study of state functions mostly. Internal energy, enthalpy, Gibbs energy, entropy. So these are state functions. Also some parameters which are path functions. So path functions are those which depends on path of the system. Those are work and heat. So work is represented with W, heat is represented with Q. Both work and heat are path functions. These are path independent functions. State functions are path independent, does not depends on path, whereas path functions work and heat depends on path. Suppose example, see this. The system is present at state A, its temperature is T1. When it is going to state B, changing of temperature will be takes place. Going to C, changing of temperature takes place. Again going of D, changing of temperature. Whenever it is returned to its original state, the temperature must be same. So whatever the path it is going, it does not matter. Here temperature, initial state and final state both are same. So temperature is also same. So that means temperature only depends on state of the system, at which state it is present. Initial state also A, final state also A. That means temperature is constant. So temperature is a state function which depends on state of the system. Similarly, we are taking volume V1. Whenever it is returned its original state, volume is again constant. So again volume is called state function. So these are does not depend on path it traveled. These are path independent functions. But whenever we are taking work, suppose the system is going from here to here, it is doing some work, it is going to here, it is going to. However, it is returned to its original state, but its work cannot be zero. Why? Because work depends on path. If any person is walking in this way and return its original place, it doesn't mean he done zero work. So there must be some work, because work is a path function. It depends on how much path it is traveled, that we can calculate work. Same like heat is also path function. So heat and work are path functions. Remaining all these are state functions. State is a path independent and these are path functions. Also, there are some definitions. Extensive property. Another is intensive properties. Today we are all learning definitions. What is a system? What is a surrounding? What is a boundary line? How many types of systems? What is a process? How many types of process? And also state functions, extensive and intensive. All these are definitions. So in the next class we will start the actual thermodynamic chapter. All these are the definitions. So extensive properties and intensive properties. So extensive properties are those properties which depends on amount of the system. Any property which depends on amount of the system is called extensive property, which depends on amount or size of system. Such properties are called extensive property. Example: volume, mass, internal energy, enthalpy, entropy, Gibbs energy, etc. So all these are extensive properties. That means it always depends on amount or size of the system. Suppose we have taken two cylinders. Here 1 mole of same gas, here 2 moles of same gas we have taken. Gas is same, but here 1 mole, here 2 moles. Here amount is more. When amount is more, its volume will be more, its mass will be more, its internal energy, enthalpy, entropy, Gibbs energy, all will be more. So those systems which depends on amount or size are called extensive properties. Intensive properties, which are independent of system, independent of amount of system or size of the system. So those are called intensive properties. Intensives are independent of size, whereas extensives are depends on size. Here example: pressure, temperature, similarly density, specific heat, EMF, and all molar values. So these are the intensive properties. Extensive properties depends on the system. Intensive properties does not depends, independent of the system. So pressure is independent of the system. Whatever the amount we are taking, pressure does not depends on amount too. Temperature does not depends on amount. Density, constant. Specific heat. What is specific heat? Will learn. Specific heat is also intensive property. EMF. So this electromotive force will learn in the 12th class chapter. So that is also intensive property. And all molar values. What is molar values? We know that mass is a extensive property. It changes with amount. But if you are taking molar mass, if that mass is represented with molar, so molar mass is a intensive property because molar mass is always constant. Carbon molar mass 12, it never changes. Similarly, if this volume is represented with molar, the molar volume is an intensive property because 1 mole volume is 22.4 liters, always constant, does not change. So whenever extensive properties are represented with molar values, then those are also intensive properties. So extensive, intensive. These are dependent on size, independent on size. So these are the some important definitions in thermodynamics chapter.